Hello, it's Julie from Live for Art, and today I'm doing a sandwich pour, this time in metallics. So here I've mixed up my paints, and some of them may have been available from another pour, and I'm sandwiching the metallics in between the black. So the black is an Artist Loft Flow Acrylic, and most of the metallics are Deco Art Extreme Sheen or metallics. The gold is actually, didn't have much of the 24K gold left, so I've mixed it with some Liquitex Basics gold. And as you'll see as it goes in, the paint is reasonably thin. So we've got the Deco Art Extreme Sheen Silver. We've got, as I say, the mixture of gold. We've got a rose gold and a copper. And I think we've also got a bit of the antique bronze. So now I'm putting a layer of black over it. I normally put more black in between. That wasn't much black to layer them in like a sandwich. You'll notice that I'm using up the last of this paint, and that becomes an issue later on because the 3 cups really wasn't quite enough. I should say that the white is a pearl colour. It's funny when I watch videos, I can just see how dirty my hands look. I used to start wearing gloves, and I'd end up taking them up and getting messy anyway. So most of the time now I don't bother, and I'm able to wash off reasonably well with some cloths that I've got. Okay, so now I've done my second layer of metallics and just scraping out everything, and I'm now going to put some more black on the top. Because it's quite thin, I'm using the stick there to try and, at one point, just to try and stop it sinking so much, making the less velocity as it's hitting the other paint. This was the first sandwich pour I'd done with metallics, and I was really quite happy with the effects. So my canvas today is I think it's a 26 by 26 inch. So now I'm laying them on, and I've just gone back and put a bit more colour at the top there, which you can do as more black comes out. You'll see I've got whilst it's sped up, I've got slower as I've got to the bottom of the cup to have it come out. So look at those great cells that we've got here. This really interaction of the paint is creating some beautiful cells. Now here I am, I've used the second cup, and I'm really just basically halfway. So in an ideal world, I would have created another cup, but I've used up all those paint colours. So I've decided to put a bit of black in the middle, but it wasn't quite enough. So I decided then to put some more, and I'm just going to try and put a little bit of the metallics in it, but I didn't have much of that, didn't have as much left. So I end up just having to fiddle around and get some metallics into that, as you'll see as we go along. There's actually quite a lot of paint. If I'd actually spread it further apart, then it would have joined up enough, and I wouldn't have needed to. I would have had enough paint, and I wouldn't have wasted so much off the side, which is what I've done to keep the straight lines. I wanted to keep some degree of the sense of those lines going across. They're slightly more squiggly down the bottom half where I didn't have as much paint, because I've actually angled the canvas up to try and get the coverage over some of those sections. You'll see I've just scraped up some of the runoff to put back on the canvas to try and put a bit of colour into that bottom black area. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed that after I had stretched the canvas, I lost all those initial cells, but more are coming up. Just trying to get every little bit of the metallics out of cups. Obviously this bit of extra black in the middle looks a bit odd, so I'm going to find some paint in again one of the cups, whether it's the mixture or just maybe the plain colour, and put some on to just try and mix it. And I realised then I could actually pull some of the coloured paint down from where it was. So I've had a little bit of a play there just to try and make that less of a stark area of black. Popping bubbles, air bubbles, just trying to make sure that it's all smooth and good. You'll notice as I'll show you the dry result at the end, but you'll notice that I did come back and put in a little bit more copper. It was the one colour I did have down the bottom. So here's a bit of a close-up. So yeah, change that bottom in the end, put a bit more copper in. But look at all these lovely little cells, and bigger ones. Some really, really cool effects. So I think I've learned a lot from doing this, and next time I will have more paint or make sure I pour it slightly less compressed so that it goes further. But I really like the effects, so I'm sure I will be doing some more of these. You can really see that sparkle. Yeah, the lights hitting it, and that changes. It's still sparkly dry. It will be better when I put a varnish on it. This looks blue there, doesn't it? Just the white and the black and a bit of gold perhaps. So I'll now give you also, so that's while it's wet, I'll give you a look at the dry. So here we are with the dried piece. You'll see in the bottom right that I have put some extra copper in. That was the main other colour that I had available at the time made up. I should have actually tried to make some other colours up because it's a bit dominant. But anyway, it's dried nicely. There's continues to be some nice cells, interesting shapes happening, which has come from the thin paint interactions. So overall, I'm quite happy with that.